From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
And good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on your MTN statewide news on this Thursday. I'm Andrea Lutz. We start this afternoon with a look outside as much of the state of Montana continues to pick up from damage from that massive windstorm that rocked much of the northwest United States. But it appears the wind might not be done blowing just yet. We're going to head over to meteorologist Miller Robson with the latest. And of course, we're curious, Miller, does the threat continue today?
Well, good afternoon, Andrea, and good afternoon, everyone. Well, yeah, we did have some strong gusts yesterday. In fact, we had some record amounts in areas, and we're still seeing the winds out there right now. In fact, let's take a look at those winds currently. Now, this is what I want to do. I want to draw a line, just pretend an imaginary line from Cut Bank down to Great Falls, Livingston, over to Billings, down to Sheridan. We even put it down to Worland. Everything east of that line today still has a chance to see some strong gusty winds. We're looking at gusts already of 40 miles an hour, 44 in Havre. Billings, we're at a gust of 37. Down in Sheridan, we're at 52. Now, as we go along today, these winds are going to start to migrate further and further to the east as we take a look. Now, by the time the kids get home from school, still probably going to have some of those winds out there. But as we go along this evening, it'll push further eastern Montana, northeastern parts of Wyoming. And then by the time we wake up tomorrow morning, the winds will be gone. Still going to be kind of breezy, but nothing like we dealt with yesterday and dealt with today. We'll take a look at more of that and a full forecast, what we can expect, and maybe some snow in the forecast. We'll take a look in just a bit. Andrea.
All right, Miller, thanks for that. One of the hardest hit parts of Montana in yesterday's windstorm, of course, was Livingston. Trees and power lines went down and even crushed a car. The usual windy community absorbed a big blow from the system that blew through, leaving behind widespread damage. In East Helena, a family no longer has a roof on their home. A renter was taking a shower and initially thought a loud bang was from the family dog knocking over the TV. He soon discovered debris from the roof scattered all around. In Missoula, a fallen tree on Higgins Avenue brought firefighters and police to the area. You can see in this video it was entangled in power lines as well. The University District also got a lot of that damage. In Bozeman, a street light went out because of several downed power lines. Police blocking off a stretch of this busy road to watch for other poles that could come down, and of course that roof blowing off of that building in Havre. In the mining city, wind topping over light poles, also blocking sections of Granite Street. Police then got out there, they got to the road and redirected cars to avoid the area. And in Billings, take a look at some of these new photos of damage from viewers. The wind took out a vinyl fence down in Laurel, and a volunteer firefighter's truck was smashed by a fallen tree in Joliet. Luckily, nobody was hurt. And of course, restaurant signs slammed down, this on Grand Avenue. There were power outages reported across the region. Many of it crashed Northwestern Energy's online outage map even. As of today, that map is still out. Wow. Well, another concern with all of this wind is avalanches. Both the Flathead and West Central Avalanche Centers have issued warnings for the backcountry, listing avalanche danger as high. A powerful and very wet Pacific weather system is the catalyst for multiple warnings across western Montana. The rapid changing weather is making it hard for snowpack to adapt to terrain. Incredibly strong winds only exacerbate the problem. We're going to turn now to the Montana legislature, where despite being the minority, Democrats are still hoping to make progress on some of their top priorities. They say their main focus is health care. A new proposed bill would fine-tune an existing job training program aimed at easing a shortage in healthcare workers during the pandemic. Another would require medical providers to give patients written cost breakdowns for non-emergency procedures. When asked if Democrat-sponsored bills would gain much traction, leaders say they're hopeful.
We represent a major portion of the state, and I would hope that our colleagues across the aisle would recognize that and recognize the fact that their voices are just as important as everyone else's. So, all of these bills, they cost little or nothing to the taxpayer. They help our economy, and they lower costs for Montanans.
Governor Greg Gianforte also talked about supporting bills to stop surprise medical billing. The Democratic-sponsored bills have yet to be introduced, though, in the session. This afternoon, a Yellowstone County resident has died due to COVID-19. Now it's bringing that county's total to 173 deaths. Total deaths across the state, 1,080. Montana's total hospitalizations inching closer to 4,000 and recoveries heading toward the 83,000 mark. Active cases are hovering right around 4,800 and more than 82,000 Montanans have recovered. Ravalli County health leaders are asking people to be patient after the agency is swamped with thousands of phone calls asking about the COVID-19 vaccine. The Ravalli County Health Department fielded more than 2,600 calls in one day from people wanting to know when they and how they can be vaccinated. Administrators told the Board of Health they've already scheduled out the first doses from the state allocated for frontline workers and first responders. Director Tiffany Weber requested more doses, but isn't sure when those will be available as they follow the amended protocol from Governor Gianforte.
Those people were already scheduled and we already had doses allocated for them. So it's not a waiting list. There's no list. These are people who have scheduled appointments.
All right. And of course, Marcus Daly Hospital, another provider that's having some issues with information on when and where shots will be available in the coming days. So officials there say people should watch for that information to be posted on the COVID-19 information page on the county's website. In Missoula County, school officials are working out a schedule for how individual grade levels will return to in-class learning later this month. The changes were approved by trustees from recommendations from their COVID task force. The next steps are based on Harvard research guidelines showing schools can operate with firm infection control and those measures being put in place. Those measures include mandatory mask wearing, hygiene, social distancing, and good air quality. The changes will come to the elementary schools first, although details are still being pinned down.
January 26th is the first day of our second semester, and there will be some grade levels that are ready to go on that day. And then other grade levels will likely postpone till the next week just to give us a little more time. We haven't decided exactly which ones yet, and we will do that in the next couple of days and announce that no later than Monday so families can prepare.
All right, and school officials also say one of the primary things to work out is making sure there are enough staff on board to cover 5-day-a-week schedules. Long-term care facilities in Billings are starting to receive the vaccines. Residents and staff at Highgate Senior Living were given the first doses, and many residents have not yet seen their families in months. So the shots provided them with some much needed hope that those reunions with loved ones are coming soon. All right, up next on the new news, we read in between the lines about why bookstores are still successful amid the pandemic. And of course, our Miller Robson, he is back in with a look at that windy statewide weather forecast.